It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Siren Craft Brew in Morrisons. And this is a can of their Jouska New England IPA. 4.7% ABV. 4.7. It made me draw the can back. I was like, ooh, do I need to show you this beer? A New England IPA at 4.7% ABV. I don't know how I feel about that. First and foremost, because I was rushing around Morrisons. I didn't look at the back of the can. I looked at the front. I thought, right, I'm in the beer aisle. Right, new beer from Morrisons. Chucked it in the trolley. I was in a rush. Off I went. It's only now that I'm looking at it thinking, 4.7% ABV. Now, Siren, they produced... I had Thought Bubble from Siren and I bought it in Sainsbury's, and I said in the review that it was one of the most terrific examples of a supermarket beer that you're ever going to experience. Since then, some people have commented on my Thought Bubble video and said they bought that exact same beer. It looked completely different to what you had and they wasn't a fan of it. Now, of course, that's a batch thing. That's getting a good batch. That's getting a slightly bad batch. That's part of craft beer. That's why we all know and love craft beer, because it's made by a microbrewery, in effect, that's putting beers into supermarkets. What I've got a slight kind of issue already with this is that Siren are a craft brewery. They've got a terrific reputation. And they know really that a New England IPA shouldn't really be coming in at 4.7% ABV. But hey ho, it might be the best New England IPA I ever drink in my life. So let's reserve judgment for getting the can out. Open out into a glass and so this was £3 a can in my local Morrisons. In terms of looking at this New England IPA, yes, it's hazy. It's definitely hazy. There's a lot of sediment that's made its way to the bottom of the glass. But it already looks to me like a session. Just looking at this beer, it looks like a session IPA. Or a session pale, or just a pale ale. Just a pale ale in general. It looks like a pale ale. Pale in colour. One finger white, cloudy, kind of pillowy sort of head. It looks very inviting. It really does. It really does. Let's get the aroma. So it's got the aromas of an American pale ale. Grapefruit, orange peel, passion fruit, mango, blood orange. This is much more of a pale ale than a New England IPA. It's quite spiky and tropical. I think the best thing we can do here is just dive into it, just to see what we get. this is just weird because really quite weird, this beer. The aroma is American Pale Ale all day long, like a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale where you've got a nice amount of bitterness on the back end. It's definitely on the aroma, it's American Pale Ale. It's that spiky, tropical, tangerine, grapefruit, orange peel. But then on the taste, it's much more like a session NEIPA, like a session New England IPA. The water's been treated. They've treated the water, definitely. They make that water nice and soft, nice and inviting, nice and juicy. They've used a lot of hops in the fermenter, where those hops are just, again, soft and juicy and fruity. So that's two things they sorted out in terms of kind of making this a New England IPA. The yeast is correct. It's the correct yeast. It's got that slightly fruity, ever so slightly fruitiness to the yeast, a little bit dry. And the malt is really light, again, just offering up a little bit of sweetness to balance off the minuscule bitterness on the back end. This beer is all over the place. It's one of the most all over the place beers that I've ever reviewed on the channel. But at the same time, I can't help but love it. I love this beer. I love the fact that when you get the nose of this beer, it's an American Pale Ale. It's really hoppy, it's really pungent and hoppy and juicy and inviting to drink. Then it goes from on the taste, on the aroma, it goes on to the taste of like a session NEIPA. You can tell it's not a 6% ABV New England IPA. It's just too juicy for that. It's just too refreshing for that. It's too light for that. I really want to say Stone the Crows. But there's a point in all of this. There's a point in all of this where I'm not going to say Stone the Crows. And that is, when I first started reviewing craft beer, most craft beers were in bottles. You could get a 500 milliliter bottle of American Pale Ale tasting just like this, for £1.50 a bottle. Saltier's Cascade comes to mind. Just one beer as an example. Saltier Brewery's Cascade Pale Ale comes to mind. It would have tasted almost identically to this. So very cleverly, breweries have gone, we're going to put our beer into cans. So a bottle is 500 millilitres. A can is 440 millilitres. You've already lost 60 millilitres if you do the maths. The next thing is you're not paying £1.50 for a bottle of that beer anymore. You're paying £3. So not only are you losing millilitres, 60 millilitres to be precise, from your money's worth, but you're also paying twice the price. You're paying twice the price. It's very clever marketing from breweries. It's very, very, I mean, if I was a brewery, would I be doing the same thing? I'd like to think that, look, you start a business up, if you can make some money, that's the whole point of a business, yeah? Siren Craft Brew are not doing this for charity. It's not a charity, it's a business. We all need to realise that. But also, with our hard-earned cash these days, it's our job, it's our realisation of, am I getting my money's worth? Pick up this can, look at it from the supermarket, see that it's a New England IPA, see then that it's 4.7% ABV, get the aroma for yourselves, realise that it's an American Pale Ale, and then taste it thinking it's a very light New England IPA, and then judge for yourselves. Judge for yourselves whether you're comfortable paying £3 for a can of this. It's all very nice, it's all very tasty, it's all very lovely. It's a tasty brew. I'm not getting away from that. But is it worth it? Is it worth it? I know it's a different beer style, but you could go to Lidl, buy a bottle of their Pearl and Back of Weiss beer in a 500ml bottle, and you could buy that for £1.25. Still, to this day, as of July 2022. If you're watching in the future, the price might have gone crazy with inflation at the moment. But as of July 2022, you can go into Lidl and buy a bottle of Pearl and Backer for £1.25 a bottle, 5% ABV, 500ml bottle. So you're getting more beer, more ABV, a similar experience in that you may not be tasting hops, but you might be tasting more kind of banana and clove and Weiss beer like flavours. So it's down to yourselves really. Are you happy? Will you guys be happy paying £3 a can for a 4.7% ABV New England IPA? Or is it just a pale ale in disguise? I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I suppose though, if you're asking me to put the tail on the donkey here, will I buy another can? No, I won't. I would rather go to Lidl or Aldi and buy it's almost a third of the price. It's almost a third of the price. I can buy a bottle of Pearl and Back of Weiss beer for £1.25 a bottle. I think, on a personal level, if I had 20 quid in my hand for an afternoon's drinking, I think I'd be heading to Lidl or Aldi rather than Morrisons for that particular beer. But it's all circumstance. I drink in volume. Some people might just like the 1 or 2 cans. It's however you are as a person, I suppose. I like to drink in volume. I like to drink 5 or 6 or 7 bottles on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So for this, I'm going to rate it. It's really tasty. I'm not getting away from that. It's a really tasty, very light tasting New England IPA. Juicy, refreshing, light, ticks all the boxes there. But value for money? I don't think so. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.